Hello everyone, this is Linkamus Prime, and today we are taking a look at the Bandai Tamashii Nations Gundam Universe Wave 6. And to start off with, we are taking a look at the Gundam Heavy Arms figure, and this is the first in the line, so I will be looking at this one first. Here we have the Gundam Universe Gundam Heavy Arms in its basic form, and I gotta say, this figure looks absolutely amazing. The thing I would like to point out about Gundam Universe figures is that they do have a little bit more panel lining detail than the original design, so these are pretty much slightly original variation designs for these mobile suits, so they are going to be different from, say, like a high grade design or master grade design, and I kind of like it. I think it looks really good. But one thing that I really do like about these figures is that they're basically robot Damashi figures at an affordable price. Instead of paying $80 to $100 for a figure smaller than this, you can buy this, which is bigger and has some pretty decent features. Yeah, it's missing some things here and there, but at the same time, you can get it for around 25 bucks, so that's a win for me. Overall, the amount of detail just for this figure at a $25 price is absolutely amazing to me. But there is one thing that this figure does suffer from in terms of what it lacks, and that is panel lining. As a model kit builder, panel lining is a pretty huge deal to me, and I might consider doing that with this figure and with most of my other Gundam Universe figures. But I don't think it would have costed more for them to at least panel line it. I mean, panel lining is fairly simple to do, so I don't see why they couldn't do that, but I guess beggars can't be choosers. But it still looks good either way. I mean, we do get, you know, the red and the white, kind of the color separation of the parts separation. So, you know, the orange, yellow, all that kind of stuff. It just looks really good. The only really bit of panel lining that there is just for like the little mouth bit, and that's about it. So I'm at least fine with that, because, you know, that's a given, that's like needed and required for Gundam figures. But yeah, overall this does look really good. I do like the kind of slightly metallic blue, like V thin chest symbol type thing on the chest. The way that the paint is separated right here is really nice. I like the way that they did that, as well as for the yellow. I'm not sure if this is just painted on or if it's a separate part. If you know, just let me know in the comments. But overall, everything else on this figure does look good. You know, you get the jetpack detail and all that kind of stuff, and sides of the arms. And yeah, so figure looks really good in my opinion. Now, one of the features that this figure does have is that it does have the opening panels, so we do get the inner detail for the heavy arms. Another thing that I would like to mention is that I do like to call this Gundam the Second Amendment Gundam, for very obvious reasons. But yeah, so you can open up all these panels, and that just looks really good to me. Turret detail looks really good, and I do like that metallic green bit right there, so that is very nice. Now, in terms of accessories, we don't really get too much on this figure. All we get is the kind of turret piece right here, and there's not really much going on. I do get the feeling that that is not supposed to happen, or maybe it is, I have no clue, but the shield part can come off, which is interesting, and we do get this section which can rotate out like so, and it is a separate piece, so just be careful not to pop it out. And then we do get this turret piece right here, but sadly it does not spin or anything like that. I kind of wish it did, but again, beggars cannot be choosers. So we do get this. It does look very nice, so yeah. And then all we really do get as well is just, you know, the trigger finger hand and this stand adapter, and then the other two hands. We just get one fisted hand and another open hand. And this one, they didn't include a fisted hand for whatever reason, but I think that's mainly just to accommodate for this, because you do have to pop off the fist when you're interchanging parts, and there's a ball joint on the inside right there. So you do just all take that and pop it on like so, and you could have the cannon arm, and that just looks absolutely amazing. That just looks sick in my opinion. But I mean, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of you know, changing out parts and all that kind of stuff, but it's a hand, so I don't really care that much. But yeah, this just looks really good with that extra gun. And once you open, you know, all the little panels and stuff, it just really makes this thing pop. And get that open, and there we go. But yeah, that just looks super cool to me. In terms of articulation, we do get a ball joint at the head, which allows it to look up about that far, down about that far, and it can go all the way around theoretically, but I don't want to, risk anything. One thing I should mention, these are like actually very skinny pieces. Be insanely careful with these because you do not want these to break. And same thing with the V-fin, because these look very skinny, and yeah, these I could easily see these snapping off. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, so head is on a ball joint, can go all the way around, all that kind of stuff. Arms can also rotate all the way around like so. There is a double ball joint on the inside of the shoulder, so it can kind of move like a butterfly hinge, which is really nice. And then we do get a ball joint at the shoulder pad, which can allow for a little bit extra range. Arms can move out about that much and in about that much. Swivel at the bicep, double bend at the elbow, which is not too great but not too bad. And then we do get a ball joint at the wrist. So that is pretty much about it for the arms. Right here for the waist, we do not get a proper waist swivel. We just get this area so he can kind of arc back like that and crunch forward like that, and there's only a little bit of swivel, but that is mainly because there's a ball joint that kind of goes up and inside of this area to allow for a little bit of range. So I do like that system. They used it a lot on like entry grades and stuff, but yeah, but it can shift back and forth a little bit, so yeah, but just no proper swivel, so that kind of sucks, but it's not a huge deal. The butt flap is stationary, but we do get articulation on both sides, so like on the side skirts and on the front skirts, but because of this area right here and because of how they're built, they can't move forward all that well, which kind of sucks in my opinion. But the legs can move out about that far, so you can spread about that much, and there is ball joints at the bottom, and then go in about that much. Kick forward only about that much, and that's why that sucks. And then you can't really kick back all that much. So there's really not a lot of range in this particular area of the legs, and I really do not like that. But we do get a swivel at the thigh, double bend at the knee, and what I've noticed is that they've been improving a little bit when it comes to the knees on these figures, because the knees looked so awkward with like the first wave of figures, and it looked so weird, but now it looks a little bit better. I can see that there's some improvement there, so that is good. And then we do get a ball joint right in here and in the foot, which does there is a ball joint in there, and then a ball joint here, which does allow for a little bit more range. Not too much, but enough to get some slightly decent poses out of, and considering that the legs don't have too much range, that does not bother me in the slightest. So that is pretty much about it for the articulation on Gundam Heavy Arms. Cool feature I would like to mention before I forget, but we do get this knife that folds out, and it looks very awkward, I'm not gonna lie. I guess it could be useful in some ways, for like stabbing, but it would have made sense if this was maybe flipped. I don't know, I don't like the way that is angled. When it's back like this, though, I could see a little bit more use, because you could probably just slash something like that, but when it flips out, it looks so awkward to me, but that's just a minor nitpick. But either way, that does look nice, and I do like the silver paint for that. But that is pretty much about it for Gundam Heavy Arms here. Moving next on the list here, we have the Gundam Universe, Gundam Exia. One is probably my least favorite in this wave. Because it's bad or anything, this is not a bad figure. It's just mainly, I'm not the biggest fan of the design. I mean, the figure itself looks really good, but it's not the design that I particularly prefer. There are some other problems though, but I will get into that in a little bit. Let us move on to the detail. We do have a lot of really nice part separation and color separation detail that does look very good. I do like that metallic green for the, I don't know what these are called. I haven't seen 00 fully, but it does look pretty good. We get it on the sides of the legs and all that kind of stuff, on the arms, on the chest, and on the sides of the head. So that does look very nice. And we do get kind of a slightly lighter metallic green, or more so a teal for the eyes, and I do like how that looks. But overall, this figure does suffer from the same issue that most of the Gundam Universe figures suffer from, and that is, also a lack of panel lining. But not a big deal. Overall, though, the detail does look very nice. I do like the panel lining detail that is there. I just wish it was colored in. But the overall physique of this figure is very, very enjoyable in my opinion. Now, Exia does come with a lot more accessories this time. We do get the blade shield accessory, and it does flip out like so, which is a cool inclusion in my opinion. There's not really much to talk about in terms of the actual blade part though. Most of the time we do get some kind of silver lining for like the model kits, but we didn't really get any of that on this, so I don't know, not the biggest deal. And then mine also has the same issue where the shield just wants to pop off. I don't know if that's a QC thing. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to do that or it's not supposed to do that. I don't really know. But overall it does look really good. So I do like how this looks, and that is very nice. We also do get these two blade accessories. We get the long one and the short one, and I should have popped these off. These parts right here are basically just the extra parts for storage, so we don't really need to look at those. But these are pretty much just the blades, the short and the long one. They do have the same exact handles, and they do pop off, so you can interchange them. I don't see why you'd want to though, because it just seems useless to me. But they do look pretty good, and keep in mind most of the weapons on this are very, very sharp, so be careful. We do get some extra hands as well, but only well, we do get 4. We do get the 2 open ones and then like the 2 fisted hands. That is pretty much about it. And then these are the accessories that kind of perplex me a bit. We get 4 of these beam saber hilts, but no beams. Oh wait, that sounds familiar. I mean, they look decent, just what's the point? What was the point here? It was just for decoration. I mean, you pop them on and all that kind of stuff, but why? I wish that they just at least had some form of more use to them instead of just hanging on to the butt and the shoulders, because that would have seemed pretty cool to me. But this is pretty much all they do is just store on the shoulder, and that's really about it. So yeah, although in stores they do look pretty decent, so I can't really complain there. Now to store the sword bits, all we gotta do is take these sections, pop them off of the legs very carefully and try not to lose them. Take these parts right here, these are just the connection bits, and then connect these to the sides of each sword like so, and then pop in the side right here. There's a little tab right there and a hole right there, and they can spin freely. That is not the right one. This is the right one. They kind of are loose sometimes, so you can tell which one's which, but it's a bit of a hassle, I'm not going to lie. But pop that one in. This one goes in here, and then this white piece will go over here like so. Just pop on like that, and then we do the same thing on the other side. Pop that off. Take this, pop it on, and then pop on the white piece, and that is pretty much just the storage for the sword bits, and that does look pretty nice in my opinion. To store the shield slash sword thingy, all we got to do is we take the hands, interchange them, just swap them out. Take the fisted hands, take that out, bring this in, pop it in like so. That is a bit stiff. And then just take this and slide that in to the hand like such. And there we pretty much have that part in. I wish there was at least another connection port, so that way it's not, you know, just all wobbly and loose like that. But not a huge deal. But we can flip it out like so. I gotta do this manually. Oh boy. Okay. And stuff's falling off. This just is not my favorite. It's very wobbly. It's not too sturdy. It's just, yeah. It's just meh. It looks good. Just playing with it is a mess. It is a very insane mess. But once you get it all together, it does look very, very cool. It can also hold these swords, but it's pretty much the same situation with the shield sword, where it's just going to be loose, so there's really no point showing that. Oh, when it comes to the articulation on the Gundam Universe Gundam Exia here, we do have a ball joint at the head, which allows us to look up that far and down that far and rotate all the way around. This one has a little bit more clearance than Heavy Arms, which is very nice in my opinion. The shoulder pads are on ball joints like the last figure. They can go all the way around like so, move out that much, so not too much, move in about that much, swivel at the bicep, and a double hinge joint at the elbow, and that is a lot better than Heavy Arms. And then we do get the ball joint at the wrist, so that is pretty much about it. But the arms articulation is pretty decent. Same story with here. This one does have a better waist swivel, if you can even call it that. I'll just call it a diaphragm swivel because that's really what it is. If it was a waist swivel, it would have been down here, but this is more so in the diaphragm, so this is just a diaphragm joint. But similar system here with the ball joint, how it's built, but we do get a lot more range right in here than some of the other ones, and I do really appreciate that. I crunch forward about that much, back about that much, side to side pretty well, and swivel pretty decently. So that is that. We do get ball joints at the kind of, front skirt areas, but they are very stiff, but they can move forward, if I can get them to. There we go. And the legs can also not kick forward very well. And it's not because of the of these, it's actually because of this section right here, which connects the sections right here, so they can't move forward all that much. And oh boy. Now when it comes to doing the splits, Exia here come on, there we go, not do the splits. That's as far as it'll go because of these sections right here. And then when it comes to the knees can bend about that much, and not as awkward looking. It's decent, I guess. And then we do get the ball joint at the yeah, there it went again. We do get the ball joint at the foot, and it does go out a lot farther than it should, but you can't really do much with it because the legs don't have too much range. So yeah, but that is pretty much just about it for the articulation on Exia, and you guys can now see why that this is my least favorite out of the three, but it is not bad. And I just realized while I was reviewing this figure, the legs are now loose. Oh boy, okay. And for the third and final figure of the Gundam Universe Wave 6 line, we are going to be taking a look at the figure that I was the most excited for, and it definitely lived up to the hype for me, but we are taking a look now at the Gundam Universe Freedom Gundam. Overall, all of the detail on this figure is very, very nice. We do get a nice metallic yellow, slight gold coloration for these V-fin sections right here at the top. We do get that front camera part right there. The eyes are painted in a pretty nice gold, and we do get the panel lining for the mouth section, as well as the red for the chin, and the black on the inside section. So the head does look very nice. Shoulder pads do look really good as well. We do get the red right here and the blue right here for this little thruster bit. The red right here for the pilot cockpit area. The vent sections look pretty good. I like the blue right here. The red right here in the crotch does look pretty good, and but yeah, overall, my favorite part of this figure is just how it looks. I love the build of this thing. This thing is just utterly perfect to me. But yeah, I love this figure so much. But a lot of detail packed into this $25 figure, if I do say so myself. If I'm on it, I will cover articulation now, since I don't want to add those on until after I'm done. But basically, we do have a ball joint at the head, which allows it to look up that far and down that far and rotate kind of all the way around, but again, kind of don't want to force that. So yeah, we do get another kind of butterfly hinge joint at the shoulder, which is very nice. We do get the shoulder pads are on ball joints, so they can move a little bit, not as much as the other two, but it can move slightly to accommodate for a little bit more range. Arms can move out about that much and in about this much, rotate all the way around like so, bend at the elbow, which is very nice, and a swivel at the hand, and it can go all the way around because it is on a ball joint. So that is pretty cool. Another thing I would like to mention, all the hands for all Gundam Universe figures are the same. There's no different hands. They are literally all the same. So if you're wondering, hey, why do my hands look different on this figure, or like why do they look the same, it's because they are all the same. So Yeah, but anyways, moving back to the articulation. The front skirts suffer from the same issue, sadly, of not being able to move forward all that much. However, the legs can kick forward a full 90 degree. And yeah, this one is a lot better, in my opinion. We do get a pretty decent knee bend, and then we do get the ball joint at the foot. And hey, it didn't pop off that time. Woohoo! And it is double ball jointed, so it's kind of like a dumbbell ball joint on the inside. So there is a ball joint up in there and down in the foot, so that does work very nicely. So articulation on this figure is very, very much superior to the other two, in my opinion. So that is very, very nice. And now let us talk about the accessories, and this one has a lot more to it than the other guys. First off, we will start with this. This is not really an accessory, this is just part of the figure, but I do want to look at this separately. This is the wing pack, and I really just love the way that this looks. And like most model kits that we do get of the Freedom Gundam, it does work very similarly. But we do get two swivels right here so they can go all the way around, and right here on both sides, and they can move out like so and like so to accommodate for kind of like the stored mode for when it's not using the wings. So that does look very nice. But the wings, they can spread. They can spread out like that, and bring that down right there. And there we go. And then we do the same thing on the other side, like that and like that. And that just looks so, so cool to me. I love the way that that looks. And then the other thing that these can do is if we rotate them behind like so and like so, we can flip these sections forward like that and like that, and these are the shoulder cannons for the Freedom Gundam. So that just looks so, so cool in my opinion. I do love how that looks. So that is pretty much it for the wing pack, and I think these do not rotate, never mind. But yeah, that is pretty much about it. Do get the two side skirts for both sides, and these do just connect via this this little tab right here. But I'll just talk about this one. These ones are pretty much just for the rifles that kind of transform out of the sides, and you just flip them out like that. And these do look very, very cool in my opinion, so I'm glad that they included that feature. So yeah, but they do look very nice, and all you got to do to store them back is there's a little, there's a tab right here, there's a slot right here, tab that in like so, same thing right here, tab, slot, boom, and boom. So that is pretty much the stored mode, and that does look very, very nice in my opinion. I do like the red and the black right there, and just the part separation does look very cool, so yeah. For the next accessory, we do get the beam rifle, and this looks very, very nice in my opinion. Now, one thing about this that I do kind of wish they could have, you know, maybe included on this was maybe just a hinge right here for this section for the extra handle, but not a huge deal. But this does look very nice. I do like the way that it looks. Could have used some panel lining, but all of these should have used some panel lining. But the part separation does look very good in my opinion. It doesn't really do much besides just, you know, being held, but that is pretty much about it. The other accessory we do get is the beam sabers, and they do combine, like I just showed, into the beam staff, and I love that they included that. And then we do get the two beams. Haha, beams is the only figure in this wave that has these. But they do kind of connect inside. I don't want to put them in all the way because they fit in very, very tight, so I don't want to force that. But that is pretty much just what that looks like, and that just looks super, super sick to me. But that is pretty much about it for that. One cool thing I would like to mention: the beam rifle can accommodate the beam effect, so that does look very cool in my opinion. The other accessories we do get are the two open kind of trigger finger hands and just regular grappling hand. This is just for the gun, this is for the beam sabers, so there is a difference between the two. So that is about that. And then we do get the standard base adapter, and then the other thing is we do get the basic fisted hands. So that is pretty much it for all of the accessories. Now, you might be wondering, wait, you forgot one more accessory. Well, I wish I'd forgot that accessory, because It seems like Bandai was the ones that forgot this accessory. This figure would have been almost 100% perfect if it included the shield. We do not get a shield with this figure, and that is like one of the signature weapons for the Freedom Gundam, and we didn't get it. Now, something cool I would like to mention is that you can, in fact, store the beam saber hilts onto the side skirts. They just snap in, and you do kind of have to get it in there, but they do snap in, and they are very secure. These are not like floppy like on the master grade or on the high grade. This is like not going anywhere, like it is in there. So I really do like that, and you can do it on both sides. And here we have the Freedom Gundam with everything on it that it comes with, and this thing looks so good. When it comes to utilizing all of the stuff that this figure has, it just looks so amazing to me, and I think that it's really cool that this figure only costed $25, and with all the stuff that it comes with, I think that it's more than worth it. But I'm still not gonna lie, not having the shield still kind of drops some points on this, so yeah, I wish that they included the shield, but not a huge deal considering how amazing that this thing looks. For comparison, here we have the Freedom Gundam next to the Gundam Heavy Arms, and they do fairly scale the same. They're not in scale though, that's the only thing with this Gundam Universe line. There's really no scale, they're all just around the same height, which is kind of inaccurate because there's some Gundams that are going to be smaller than others and some that are going to be bigger than others, so that's one thing that they don't really do with this, but I don't necessarily mind. Here we have the Freedom Gundam next to Gundam Exia, and here we have all of Gundam Universe Wave 6 together, and they just look so good to me. For some other comparisons, here we have the Gundam Universe Wave 6 next to a basic high-grade 1/144th scale Gundam, Voyager class Transformer, and a Bandai Movie Monster Series Godzilla figure. And that is about it for GU Wave 6, and I gotta say, this is probably one of, if not my favorite waves from this figure line. While Exia may not be my favorite out of the bunch, I would have to say that Heavy Arms and the Freedom Gundam have to be my two favorite out of this wave. And if you want to have your own of one of these, you can find them at Target for around $25 to $30, depending on, where you're finding these. But at Target, they do have them for around 25 bucks. So I would say that that is a very good deal for these figures, and I would say that it would be very much worth it. But anyways, guys, that is about it for this review. I hope you all enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.